Psych! We're just gonna push it. So Matt gave us his headlights a while ago to retrofit. Now this is something that I urge many right-hand drive owners in the States to do, and I finally convinced him to do it. We did a Morimoto MLED 2.0 retrofit on his GTR. Let's talk a little more about why that's so important with a right-hand drive car that you import and kind of what we did with his lights.
All right, so in the background, we are working on the dyno room. Please forgive the knock knocks. But like I said, today we are going to be installing some retrofits. We did a little back on Matt's 92 GTR. Now, I did mention when I was shoehorned in that car that we do really recommend people look at right-hand drive cars and how they can make the lights a left-hand drive setup. Now, the reason for that is obviously these cars were made and the light output was designed to work on a right-hand drive car where the cars are driving on the left side of the road. Now, that's fine and dandy, but here the optics are really designed to light up the road in front of you and not blind oncoming drivers, where the opposite with these right-hand drive lights, it's kind of made to illuminate the other side of the road and then limit the output in front of you. Now, it isn't a huge, gigantic difference, but it's a great way to see better, especially with a car like this. You do not want to crash this and wreck the front end. Getting the parts will be tough to source. So the further down you see, the better you can see. It's going to be a better time for you. The other thing is there are cars like Kevin's Evo over here. These, a really popular option for the Evos, even STIs and other cars, or even European cars, is to get the European or JDM headlights. Now, I can tell right off the bat, these are the JDM Evo headlights. The way that I know that is the projector has a teal or like Tiffany blue kind of shade to it. That tells me that those are the JDM headlights and those have a right-hand drive cutoff. So even though the car is left-hand drive, the headlights are not aimed properly for US roads or left-hand drive roads. And that's another thing that we can upgrade as well. So I'll probably talk to Kevin about that. So, what is a right-hand drive and left-hand drive projector? These obviously come with projectors from the factory, which is great. Projectors do allow a magnification of the light with this lens, but there has to be some sort of aim to it. So this is an aftermarket projector. The reason I wanted to use this one, even though it is kind of dookie, is it actually has this stamped on it. So this is the cutoff shield. This is what creates the line. So when you're looking down the road with a projector headlight, there's usually like a pretty hard line, and then the light is below it, and then above it is black because they don't want you to blind oncoming drivers. Now this is a left-hand drive. You'll see the right side of it is higher than the left side. And we call this the cutoff, the projector cutoff. So if we were to flip this, now it is a right-hand drive projector. So that's as simple as it is. The issue is a lot of times you can't do just a simple flip of the cutoff. For some cars like the Evo and the GTR, it's actually a cast piece of aluminum that's built into the projector. It also has a curve. It's like three-dimensional. It's not as easy as just taking this out and flipping it. As far as doing a conversion, it's a little more intricate than just lining this one up. So for Matt's GTR, what we ended up doing was the paint on the front was starting to crack a little bit. So we refreshed that with satin black paint. There is a tin or aluminum piece that goes around the projector. That's just to help with any sort of lens burn. Kind of like if you think of like ants in a magnifying glass, if the sun goes through the projector, it can create like a hot spot on the plastic. So they use a piece of aluminum to block any heat and it doesn't burn. With these, we ended up actually making a bracket, a conversion bracket. The original projector is the whole piece is cast. So as far as like where it meets the adjusters, mounts into the actual headlight, you can't swap it out. So what we did was we actually created a CAD design for a replacement bracket that utilizes the Morimoto 2.0 MLED projector. Now this is a bi-LED, so it's low and high beam, and we are still utilizing the factory high beam on this, but it just does double duty over here, which is more light, more bright, you're good to go. If you're looking to do this conversion yourself, we do actually sell that bracket and optional projectors. If you want us to do it, here you go, this is what it's gonna look like. The other cool part about that is it does have the AR coating, which is like a purpley bluish kind of lens coating. So it gives it like a more modern look and it actually helps with filtering light. The other thing that we did to this on top of all that is if you have a GTR or like an older Nissan, you are very familiar that the paint up here on the lens chips up really bad over time. So we ended up doing a new fresh coat of epoxy paint, which is nice and robust and should hold the test of time. Yeah, these are pretty much fully refreshed. The glass lenses, there's really not a ton that we can do to refresh those, because maybe you can polish glass. Honestly, I don't really know. I gave it a quick cut and this is where we got with it. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and install these today. He has done a lot of work to the car, so he has dish connectors on here for the low and the high beam. So what we're gonna do is plug these in. We made a little kind of custom wiring harness here. So this will go to the high beam for the projector. This will go to the low beam. The whole back is nice and sealed up. We got the projector all set in there, and I think we're ready to go and put these in. So Matt's obviously done a lot of work to this. The whole inside is tubbed and a lot of the wire management is very clean. So I ended up putting the Morimoto LED driver on the bottom of the headlight, and then the wiring kind of all tucks in front of the radiator support. We are taking off this very nice carbon fiber radiator shroud so that we don't mess it up. They found their home. They know where to go. Now the hard part is gonna be plugging these in. Oh, I see it. There's one plug. All right, we got it in there. It bolts in pretty easy. And obviously with the connectors that Matt put on there, it plugs in easy. So that was a pretty straightforward. We just had to loosen up some of the hardware for this. It is sitting in there. The car's a little dusty. Please forgive that. What we're gonna do is go ahead and bolt it in. We'll get the other one set and then we'll test them out. Show you guys what they look like. And then we will have to do a final aim. I think we can probably just like get a decent aim against the wall here. It is the winter time. We don't wanna drive it outside. And there's a lot of other cars in here. So we'll probably do like the final aim, you know, once the weather breaks and the car will be driven. Until then, it's just gonna sit in storage anyways. I like older cars. They're you're darn tootin', dude. If I was in the Cars, the movie, Disney Pixar's Cars. Oops, wrong one. Yeah, the Hudson Hornet. That's me. That's my lifestyle. Really negative, curmudgeon-y, old, totaled, mustached. That's my life. All right, so it's just two 10 mil bolts on the side and then two 10 mil nuts on the back here. The adjuster for these, you know when I stop talking that I'm trying to find it. I think it's the bottom one here. I can verify on the other side. It's hard for me to see where the ball joint. So typically how the adjusters on a headlight work is there's gonna be three things that are holding the projector or the high beam or whatever in place. For this one, it has separate adjusters for the high and low beam. Most newer headlights are gonna have these same adjusters shared between the low and high beam on like a single frame, but these are separate. So the big one we're worried about is the low beam. We didn't do anything with the high beam, so it should be fairly okay, but we'll double check that too. So the three pieces. So this you can see here, that's gonna be one of the adjusters that holds it. There's another one right here. And then the third one for the GTR at least is this top corner. So how it works is that one is just a ball joint. It's static, it doesn't move at all. And then if you were to loosen or tighten this, what it would do is hinge on that ball joint. So that would move the projector left or right. And then the bottom one here would hinge up and down. So this is gonna be our height adjustment down here. This one, you really don't usually have to worry about adjusting. It's most of the height that you're gonna fine tune, but that adjuster is there in case it's back and forth a little wonky. This ain't going nowhere. It's on there. All right, let's do the other side and then we'll power them up. All right, we have I was gonna say the driver's side headlight, idiot. We have the passenger side headlight installed. Both are plugged in. The only thing is the high beam for this side is like real tough to get to, the plug for it. So I just gotta dive back in and get that connected. Once that's done, it does have power. So we're gonna go ahead and turn them on and see how they look. So we got both sides in, both sides plugged in. That high beam wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be to plug in. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead and try them out. Hey! He has buttons. I'm not used to buttons for like low and high beam. Usually the high beam you like pull back. It'd be kind of hard to drive if someone's coming up on you, turn your high beams off in a flash. But yeah, they work. Cool. All right, so like I said, we're gonna do a just quick aim just to make sure that they're like decent enough. Put it back into storage, and then come spring, we'll dial in a little bit. All right, the battery is dying, so we'll make this quick work. We talked about that bottom adjuster being the one that we're after, and we're gonna loosen it to bring the height up. So typically what we would do is measure from the projector down to the floor, kind of do the same against the wall and line them up. This one's gotta come up a bit more. And because we replaced the entire projector hanger, I probably will do a little left to right adjustment eventually, because this one right here should be kind of where that downpipe is, but you can see it's to the right by a little bit. And same with the driver's side here, it's kind of pushed over. We got an air filter in the way of that one. We're gonna be tightening this one to move it over. Oh no, loosening. In just a moment, you should see that cutoff start to move left. There she is. So let me see if I can reach this one with a wrench because of that air filter. And this one we have to loosen. Might be a little tight here. Oh, no, we gotta tighten it. I'm sorry. Silly me. There is a general rule of thumb when aiming headlights. Over a certain amount of distance, the light should fall a certain amount. I think like 25 feet, the light should fall about an inch. I'll be honest, what I typically do is park parallel to a wall like this one, turn the headlights on, and you could see the cutoff beam all the way down. The other thing is just like driving on the road. If you do level your headlights, just drive with it for a little bit, just make sure it's exactly where you want on the road. I've noticed that if I follow the rule, they are like a little bit lower than how I typically like them, which is usually if the car in front of me when I'm driving, I wanna have my headlights below their side view mirrors. I don't drive like crazy low cars, it really depends on your car's height. Obviously, if you have a truck, it's gonna be higher than that, but that's kind of like my general rule of thumb. It can be more scientific if you'd like. All right, cool. So side markers are going back in. This is going for the OEM Plus look. So he is sticking with the amber colored. And these just have like a little slip in on the side, a ball joint on the front, and then one retaining screw up top. This side's gonna be a little trickier. Like I said, the plug for the side marker, I think I saw it over here. So I'm gonna have to just reach up and grab it. That's for the horn. That's for the low beam. There she is. I think we got her. Happy days. I'm lost again. So that's how you go ahead and update your right-hand drive GTR R32 Nissan R chassis Skyline headlights from right-hand drive to left-hand drive. If you guys want to check this out for your R32, go to the site. We got them on there. It's pretty cool. I also believe, I'm not positive yet, but I think these will actually fit the R33 as well. Wait on that. We're going to confirm fitment before we do. But if you guys have any questions, or if you have a right-hand drive car that you're looking to update to left-hand drive, hit us up. We'd love to make some. Comment below and we'll check into it. Thanks so much. See ya.